All right, we are down here with puppy Chase. He is Blue Collar Puppy, and we are going to go over his week 1 video recap for everything that we've been practicing with him for his Stay and Train program. So before I get started, I'm just going to go through some housekeeping. When you registered for the program, you would have gotten a confirmation email. There are a few things in that email. First of all, you have a link to a page to our website that has resources for you. Please check out that page now. You're going to also have there some handouts as well as access to the video library, which goes through in more detail all of the behaviors that I'm going to show you with Chase today. So as you can imagine, especially when there are big litters or overlapping litters, I just can't talk that much. So if you want to know exactly how we train a behavior and why, watch one of the videos or watch the videos from the video library. We are on week 1 this week, so watch the week 1 videos, okay? All right, so we're just getting Chase warmed up with a little bit of play here with the flirt pole. He loves to play. Chase and actually I think all the puppies in this litter really like the flirt pole. They really like their toys. Another thing in that confirmation email is booking your Zoom lesson for after your puppy goes home. People keep not using the code that's in there and they're paying for their Zoom lessons. So I don't know that I even have that set up because I got sick of giving people refunds because you have to put in the code. So email us to set up your Zoom lesson, or we might reach out at some point to remind you to set up your Zoom lesson. But you have 6 weeks after your puppy goes home to get your complimentary Zoom lesson, to answer any questions and go over anything with myself after your pup's been home. So definitely you should take advantage of that. So email us, get in contact with us, or we'll reach out to you guys when we're ready to get those Zoom lessons scheduled, okay? All right, so we're going to be using food for training. I have a couple different options for these puppies. We've got the Vita Essentials freeze-dried treats that we're using. I also have cheese, and I'm just kind of going back and forth depending on what the puppies prefer to work for. So I'm going to show you everything that we've been working on for week 1, and then next week you'll see how we build on all those behaviors, and it's really fun to watch the pups grow like that. Oh my goodness, you got that toy. Look at you, you're a tough guy. Do you want to show off now? What do you think? I'll give that back to you. All right, so we're going to get started here with Chase. We're going to start with the Vital Essentials and see how he does with these. I've got my clicker. And I'm going to take some food, and the first exercise that we're going to work on in week 1 is charging the clicker. So again, this will make a lot more sense if you watch the video in the video library. So I'm going to click that clicker, and then I'm going to offer him a piece of food. You going to take that? What do you think? He's like, meh, we're going to have to use the cheese. So I always start in week 1, we start by charging the clicker. I don't know, maybe 3-4 reps in a row. Good boy. So all the stuff that I show you today, it's gonna be kind of like basic stuff, but then it's cool to see how we build on all of these little foundations that we teach these puppies, these little baby puppies. Good boy, super job, Chase. Okay, so now we're gonna practice following a food lure. I'm going to show you how I hold the food. So here's the cheese treat in my hand. I'm going to cover it with my thumb and hold it against a flat palm. So whenever I'm using a food lure, this is how I hold it so the puppy doesn't bite my fingers, okay? So he's connected to the food. We're going to move him, and then I mark with the clicker. I release the treat. We're going to do that again. All these things we're going to do for at least a few reps in a row, okay? Yeah, super boy. So he's learning to stay connected to the food in my hand. We can even pair this with his name, Chase, to start to teach him what his name is. Chase. Good dog. Look at you. Chase. Super boy. Wow. Okay, so we did charge the clicker, follow the food lure. Another thing that we'll do is a release word. or a reset cookie. You might hear me use those things interchangeably. I might say release word, I might say reset, all right? And I just use the word okay. Okay. So basically, okay means that you can go after the piece of food that I'm throwing on the ground for you. Okay. You can see how this is a word that we want to teach the puppy, because I don't want to drop something on the ground and think that my dog can just automatically run after it and consume it. Okay. So I put a word with whenever I toss food on the ground. That means you're allowed to go after this piece of food. Okay. You could imagine, like, if you were in the kitchen or something and you dropped something you didn't mean to, like a piece of garlic, you don't want the dog chasing after that, right? That would be a leave it situation, not an okay situation. Okay. Good boy. Super dog. All right, and you're also gonna notice that we're gonna do a few things like that with food, and then if they're into it, like Chase's, we are gonna go back into some play just for a second or two. You know, these are itty bitty babies. They're only 9 weeks old or whatever, so we're not trying to have like marathon training sessions, right? Do a few things, play a little bit, do a few things and play a little bit. Wow, what do you got there, buddy? What do you got there? Give me that. So nice out today. You guys are all up. I got 6 puppies to get through, so hopefully nobody falls asleep on me. All right, Chase. Let's move on to our next little behavior here. So I showed you following a food lure where the puppy is connected to the food. Chase. Good boy. He's basically licking the food in my hand the whole time. Now I'm going to show you a hand target. It's a little bit different because I'm going to disconnect from the puppy. Ooh, this cheese just sticks together. There we go. Chase, touch. Good boy. So when the puppy reconnects to the food in my hand, that's when I'm marking and letting him have the food. Chase, touch. Super. Next week you'll see this behavior without the food lure. Chase, touch. Wow, what a good boy. Do one more of those. Chase, touch. Super dog. Wow, you're so smart. Okay. Good job, buddy. And let's do another one. Our first position that we teach the puppies. Most people teach these things to teach this one to their dogs right off the bat, and that's sit. So he's got him on the food lure. Chase, sit. Good sit. Good boy. Good sit. Okay. And I use that release word or the reset cookie to tell him when he doesn't have to keep sitting anymore, okay? So it's almost like right off the bat, we're almost teaching this puppy a sit, stay. Chase, sit. Good sit. I'm clicking and feeding him. Okay. And then I'm feeding him a couple more in a row. So I don't know if you're noticing that, but I'm basically feeding him for the sit stay. So I feed him like 2 or 3 cookies before I give him the release cookie. All right, so watch that again. Chase, sit. Good sit. Wow, okay. Right there. The cheese sticks to my fingers. It's the only reason I don't love it the most. Let's do one more, buddy. But the puppies love it. Chase, sit. Good sit. Good boy. Okay. Yeah, I dropped that one. Good job. Chase, touch. Good. Okay. Oh, you're so smart. So that's sit, hand target. Now let's do our first step in the mat. All right, this one is going to turn into like a stay behavior, if you're familiar with place. But for these little baby puppies, we start just by teaching them to come over and get 4 paws on the mat. And when they're there, they get cookies. Wow, what a good boy. Okay. It's right there, it's right in front of your nose. super. So we're gonna do this a few times in a row. Chase is already like offering me a down on the mat, which is nice. We haven't even formally taught down yet. He's just kind of like following my food hand. So I'm just rolling with it. It's not necessarily criteria that I've got for week 1, but if they're giving it to me, I'll take it. I know that piece is stuck together. There you go. Good boy. Okay. Use that sniffer. It's right in front of you. Good boy. Let's do that one more time. Chase. Good job, buddy. Right here. You're slipping off. So similar to the sit, once he's on the mat, I mark that with the clicker. I feed him a few treats, okay, for staying on there. And then I release him off with that reset word. Reset cookie. Yeah, you're a good boy. I'm stealing that one if you don't eat it. Okay, so that was hand targets, sits. First step in the go to mat. Let's play a little bit. Where's your toy? Oh, he's such a happy boy. He's such a happy boy. Give me that. The next thing I'm going to do in a second here is I'm going to get him dressed in his harness. So these little babies, they got to get used to wearing different types of gear. Sometimes we put their harnesses on them, they scratch at it, or they act like it's a straight jacket and they can't move. So we want to get them used to their harnesses as soon as we can. All right, let's try that. Let's put you in your harness. I think Chase might be the biggest puppy in the litter. So I got the bigger, I say the bigger harness, but it's still an extra small. All right, so for these step-in style harnesses, I believe Lisa sends them home with you guys. I like to hold the puppy just like that. I slip their front feet in first, then I'll do the Velcro on the back, then I'll do the clip. Okay, so that's the easiest fuss-free way to get them dressed in their harness. He was nice and calm while I did that. Every once in a while they might be a little wiggly, and that's okay. I'll just stop and hold still until they stop wiggling, and then I'll get them dressed again. But usually if you pick them up in the air like that, they are pretty easy to get dressed, okay? So like he's got his harness on, he's a little bit like, oh, I got this thing on me again. I don't think he's been too bad about it though this week. So we can just toss some cookies, okay, to get him moving and grooving with his harness on. But I'm also gonna pull out the crate tray. Okay. I've started doing this with the puppies in week 1 because in week 2, we'll start to work on sending the puppies into their crate on cue. And every once in a while, the dogs are just maybe a little weirded out by just the surface type. So we work on week 1 now, just getting them to walk on the surface of the crate tray. Good boy. Yeah, get it. Good boy. Okay. Right here. Good job, buddy. And he is not nervous at all. I can bring him on here almost like the mat and click, you know what I mean? Tell him that I want him to be on there with the clicker. Okay. Right there. Good boy. He's slipping. Good job. What a super puppy. Okay. Yeah, Chase does not care about this at all. Okay. I'm sure he'll do fine going in the crate next week. Okay. Great. So when we get them dressed in their harness, when we do things like have them walk across different types of surfaces and things, this is all part of the socialization process. All right, exposing our dogs to novel experiences, sights, sounds, textures, feelings, right? So he feels this harness on him. So one of the other things that we want to socialize our puppies to is just different types of handling. Especially these types of dogs, they're going to require a lifetime of grooming and veterinary care. All right, so I like to start the handling exercises with any puppy right away, but it's especially important with dogs that are going to need regular grooming care. Okay, so I'm just going to start by holding the food in one hand. I'm using both hands now, so I'm not using the clicker. I'm going to say yes instead of clicking the clicker. just so that I can use both hands. So I'm just going to start by petting him. Yes. And when I say yes, I'm giving him a cookie the same way that I would click and give him a cookie. But then I'm going to start to, yes, handle different body parts. Yes. So I picked up his ear, massage his ear canal. Yes. Good boy. We can do this with feet. Yes. Good boy. Other foot. Yes. Good boy. Let's do it to back feet. You want to stand up for me? Yeah. See how I bring my hand under his belly here? Yes. That's a little restraint. Yes. That's how your vet and your groomer are going to manipulate him when he's there for grooming or for vet care. They often want the dogs in a stand position for a lot of things. We're really good at teaching our dogs how to sit. When they go to the vet or to the groomer, they need to stand. We don't want them to sit. I've worked in veterinary medicine for 20 years. Everybody puts their dog into a sit on the table, and I'm like, great, now I need them to stand. So we have to take our hand, put it under their belly, just like this. Yes, and get that dog into a stand. The dog isn't used to being handled like that. Yes, they resent that. Yes, teach it to your dog. Tail. Yes, I'm not pulling on his ears. I'm not pulling on his tail. I am gently moving them. I am gently massaging them. Okay, this should be a positive experience for the dog. Adults should do these handling exercises, not children. Yes. And there, I just picked up his lips. Okay. Yes, one cookie and done. All right, we don't have to do these things 15 times in a row. I do each thing like ears, feet, hold under your body maybe a couple of times, tail. Most of the things I'm just doing once, okay? Okay, and I'm pairing it with food. People tell me all the time, I touch my puppy's toes all the time. And I'm like, super, are you pairing it with something the dog likes? Maybe they like having their toes touched, but then maybe they get their nails trimmed and they don't like having them touched anymore. So we got to build it with some positive experiences, right? Oh my goodness, Chase, you did so good. I also like to just put their harnesses on and just play with them a little bit, okay? So that's what I'm doing with Chase now, because we're winding it up here. He did super good. We practiced charging the clicker, right? Following a food lure, pairing that with his name. Then we practiced hand targets, sits, the mat, first steps in the mat. Then we did a little bit with the crate tray, and we did some handling exercises. Okay, so these are the basics for week 1. We're going to keep building on them each week, all the way up to practicing some baby stays on the mat, also getting his leash connected to his harness. I can show you how to start working those leash skills, okay? All right, so if you have any questions, please just respond to your confirmation email or, reach out to us. We'll be happy to answer your questions. And we'll get your Zoom lessons booked for you for after your puppies go home. Oh, you found that little pork chop? Good boy, Chase. Chase is a very happy, sociable, friendly puppy. All right, we'll see you for week 2.